We dated 5 days, got engaged, married 7 weeks later, 16 years and 4 kids later, we're basically still on our honeymoon, just with more laundry and fewer naps.
Welcome to the Marriage Made in Heaven, where love is real, grace is necessary, and your spouse definitely heard you. They're just ignoring you.
Every week, we serve up biblical truth, awkward confessions, and the kind of marriage advice that probably breaks some rules.
So whether you're single, married, or Googling how to survive your spouse, you're in the right place. Buckle up and let's get this party started. Awesome and amazing day, my friends. Today, we just want to bring a massively encouraging message to you. I think last episode was we got down to business, right? Which is super important. Sometimes it's things that we don't want to hear, but we need to hear it. And I'm so thankful. The Bible says, speak the truth in love. And it's so good to have people look into your lives and say, hey, here's the key to success. And you want to grab hold of those things and always take it humbly and meek, because it's going to produce good fruit in your life. So we kind of wanted to talk today about just enjoying each other,
Yes.
right? Like marriage is supposed to be fun. My whole thing is life equals fun. We're supposed to have days of heaven on earth, the Bible says, right? As it is in heaven, so it shall be in earth. And that's where the whole marriage made in heaven thing comes. And you might not be experiencing a marriage made in heaven right now, but your words have power. Life and death are in this power. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. And we're on this little health protocol right now. And the motivational video today was, I can, I will. I can, I will. And wives, if you don't feel like you are a super supportive, loving, respectful wife, say, I am, I can, and I will. And then we take action on it. So one of the ways that I really love to encourage Joshua is just building his confidence as our leader. I don't try to chart out my own path. I try to really respect him as the leadership and the priest of the home and always ask his opinion on things. This is a biblical principle. This is important to submit to our husbands. And the reason being is they have great discernment, right? And wisdom. And there's a whole story about Adam and Eve. Tell us what happened to Eve, babe.
Well, Eve was deceived by the serpent in the garden. And Adam, as the man, should have taken his place and said, no, this is what God said. We're sticking with it. And instead, he succumbed to the word of his wife and didn't walk in his God-given authority as the leader. And then look what happens. Sin and the fall for all man. So it's like so important as husbands making sure we're seeking God's direction by his word, which is a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our path, which shows us and gives discernment between good and evil to walk in all his ways and to lead our families in that.
Yes. So when I read the Bible for the first time, I was like, woo, that really stood out to me more. And then definitely heard some sermons around it. And I was like, man, I don't want to be an idiot out here charting my own path. Because I was very independent, right? Kind of out of birth. My mom jokingly said, I came into this world 100 miles per hour and I never slowed down. And I didn't even meet Joshua till I was 28, pretty established in my career. Had been living on my own. I moved out at 18 to go to college. And so women, that was something I had to learn. And I know it's not easy. You guys, we haven't even shared this with you, but Josh, what's the age gap we got going on here?
We are about 6.5 years.
Yes. So Joshua was 22, 22, baby. I was 28 when we first even met. He was living at home with his parents.
Yes, I was.
Never paid his own bills, never been out on his own. And I had been out since 18. So spiritually, his maturity was blew me out of the water. And that's what was so important to me. But life skills and all that kind of stuff, clearly I'd just had a couple more years, 10 to be exact, of doing that. And so being able to really encourage your husband as the strong leader and speaking to the king in him. I love this. One of my friends, you can speak to the king in your husband or the fool in your husband. If you speak to the king, he will be that king. He will be that priest. He will be the person that you really want to lead, and you really empower that. And so
you do. It is empowering. You feel that support. You feel your wife looking to you for leadership, and that's the way God intended it. And the design is that just as Christ is the head of the man is the head of the woman, looking to that leadership. And so, I mean, there was many of the years in the beginning where I wasn't getting that direction, drawing on for leadership from my wife, because she was just already so set in her ways. She's brilliant, absolutely super great at making decisions, but I needed her to come to me for things because it would have helped us both as a collective unit in making decisions.
Yes. And the coolest thing is, you guys, when you seek the Lord together, we can really be a helpmate to our husband, right? That's what we're meant to be. We're a helpmate. And so there's times where, like, I might hear from the Lord or might be looking for confirmation about what I heard, and it totally helps Joshua, like the perfect time. And then there's some times where I'm like, here, I think this is it. And he's like, no, it absolutely is not. And I'm like, wait, what? How did I miss this? But there's always wisdom in submitting to him. And there, the whole women's rights, I'm women, hear me roar, blah, blah, blah. Like,
and submission is such, it almost sounds like a curse word in this modern generation. But what does that actually mean? It's more like yieldedness.
Yeah.
The actual word there being yielded.
So good, babe.
It's not an oppressive thing. It's not under a dictatorship of a husband. It's a unity. It's a love. I mean, look at the way God designed it. It's all around the framework of love. And the submission being a yieldedness to each other.
Yes, so good. My walking Bible friends, if you need them, you can message us. We'll actually respond to you, not a robot. But babe, tell them like some of the ways that you've been able to deal with if you are married to a strong woman, which I know a lot of our listeners, you guys are, because that's what like attracts like, right? We see things in people that we have in our own self. And so being married to a strong woman, what are some of the keys that you can share with husbands of how you've really successfully, I wouldn't say rein me in, but really like, kind of put the smack down on times when I might go back to my old habits and ways of like charting out on my own, being rocket britches that I might be.
Yeah, it took me a little while to learn to navigate, right, with communication, because then I would feel sometimes slighted, or again, the shutdown, the stonewall, like bottling about not going to talk about that one way, and then to bring it up a significant time later, which is not helpful. So one of the ways is learn to talk about it right away. Like, hey, hold up a second. What are we doing here?
Hold up, wait a minute.
Hold up, stop now. Oh, now, easy.
Surfing cowboy, it's already coming out in you.
Oh, man. And the other thing too is realizing we're about to say, hey, stop, give me a minute, recognize it. If I'm a little hot already, okay, let me, I need some time to pray. I need to go on my prayer walk or run, just get a little physical activity, again, there are times where you're in a better position to deal with hard things, and you do not ever want to react out of frustration or anger or any emotional kind of a response, because every day can be different with the stuff that comes at you, and there's some days where you're better than others, and usually the reason you're better is because you're built up in prayer and the word and touching heaven. That makes a huge difference. And then there's days where maybe that wasn't, things got super busy and you weren't. So you got to watch yourself and navigate, have a calibration of how you're doing to handle situations. So that freedom to be able to openly communicate as a leader with her and know that she's going to take it well. And that's the responsibility as a wife too, of like, not just, having it be a source of conflict or contention, but working together. I mean, one of the things I really had to work on too, and I'm still working on, is the way I'll answer or respond in my tone. There's many times I don't mean to, but then I evaluate, like, just even hearing or thinking about what I just said, the way I said it can be interpreted by her as potentially demeaning, aggressive many times, right, guys? Do some of our conversations sound a little aggressive? I mean,
share the story about just starting this podcast
Oh
and me
man,
and my microphone.
yeah, exactly. This is one of the things that brought it up. My microphone's on, already recording, and I'm trying to help her with the record button. I hear it back when I'm editing the podcast episode. I'm like, wow, that was really aggressive, and my tone was not endearing at all. And so it caused me, I told her, I had to say, hey, babe, I'm sorry. How many times have I had this kind of tone and aggression? I didn't see myself as that, but I could actually hear from the recording the way I was responding to the situation. Yikes. So this is another thing about the marriage made in heaven, finding these places of, if it's just maybe a deficit or a response, an attitude, an emotion that you've grown comfortable with, maybe is how you're raised, your background, your family, your influences, the people that were around you, helping influence you in a particular way. But is it God's way? God's way of the kingdom and love and servitude and humility and peace and laying down our life for our spouse? So I just want to challenge you with that. One of the things in our married group we do is setting goals. How can I have my marriage be better? What is an area of a strength or a weakness we have? And what can we look for? What are we doing well at? What is our win? And what are we working on? So for me, still to this day, one of the things recently highlighted to me in my communication and tone of how I'm responding to her, because it's so important. We want to model, godliness and self-control in all these areas and all the responses. So that's been something huge highlighted to me.
Yeah, and babe, it meant so much, like the next morning when you woke up and you're like, babe, I just re-listened to that recording and my tone, and you guys, we're going on 16 years married, right? Like it's always a work in progress, but I was like so blessed that he just came to the realization himself, because when you hear yourself back, you're like, oh baby, right? It's a joke to have like a candid camera walking around with you, see your facial expressions, hear your tone, because you might not think it's pretty aggressive, but it is. And it goes both ways, women, for sure. So that was such a blessing. It's so good to start with like, babe, I'm sorry. Like that can really deflect any conflict really quick.
That's one of our principles, is quick to forgive.
And then slow to speak and quick to listen, because I'll jump out there ahead of like him ready to say, hey, I'm sorry, this was wrong.
Oh man, my wife should probably have been a lawyer, because she is so quick on her feet with her responses. It is incredible. Some of the things, the comebacks that she has, the things that she can say in response, it is amazing. And most of the time it's true, and the way she can navigate that. So that's one of the things I've had to work on too. When you marry a brilliant lady, brilliant, strong woman, that's one of the challenges that come with it is like the working together and growing together in a place where you can communicate freely without taking offense. I think that's one of the biggest things that happens with any kind of communication breakdown, is an offense, because often the husband says one thing to his wife, the wife hears it completely different than what the husband said. The husband most of the time is just trying to fix it, find the issue, so let's fix it now. And the wife hears it completely differently.
Yeah, shout out to Pops, my dad, one of my best friends. He was a very successful attorney, and he always told me, man, no one can fight me in the courtroom like you could. So it's truly, Josh, you said like how you're raised, and the role models you have before you and how you respond. It's like something that can pick up. But we can always change, guys. We're not a tree. We can change. We can be molded. We can be able to like work on it too, right? A lot of people carry like, oh, that's just the way I am, or that's how my dad was, or my mom was, or it's how I am. Well, no, not really. God can really help you soften if that's an area of weakness, and he can also strengthen you. And he says in James 1:5, if any of you lacks wisdom, ask, and I'll give it to you generously. I lack wisdom all the time as a wife, as a mom, how to best support Joshua, but God will help us, and he'll guide us.
Wisdom. We all need
God's wisdom. So tell him another.
Well, before I do, I just want to interject real quick with this communication thing, because one of my friends in the married group said when he's communicating with his wife, he will do the exact opposite of the immediate thing he wants to do in the response.
Yeah.
Which I thought, hey, there probably is some truth to that, right? Not being just out of emotional response, because there's
Yes.
many times our emotional response to a situation is the wrong reaction. So one of his strategies was doing the opposite of what he immediately thought to do. And many times, wives, maybe that's for you, that's just having to be quiet. Like with Allie, who's got a quick response to everything,
Yep.
where she just has to have that self-control to just take
Slow
it
to
in
speak.
without saying anything.
Yeah.
And for guys too, there's moments where your wife just wants to be heard. She wants to hear the things. She's pouring her heart out to you. It may not seem that way in the way it's being delivered, but you just need to stop, listen to the whole thing, hear her out, and then proceed. Let her, before you interject with your thoughts, ideas, and direction.
That was another big thing that comes up in married group. One of the wives was saying, like, I just want you to listen to me. I don't want you to fix it. I don't even want you to respond. So the husband grabbed wisdom and would ask before a conversation, hey, do you want me just to listen, or do you want me to weigh in on this? And the wife's like, I just need you to listen. And
Yeah.
I thought that was super important. And wives, if you're business owners too, sometimes, I mean, Joshua doesn't really do business, right? But if I can just speak out what I'm thinking in business and have him listen, being a verbal processor, man, it's like everything, as opposed to being like, oh, he doesn't do business, or I don't do music, so we're not going to understand. No, being able just to have someone listen as you speak it out, if you're verbal processing, it helps so much. And it comes back to communication. Do you want me just to listen, or do you want me to fix it or help, right?
Yes, and the other thing about having our marriages be fun is you need to have that space of being playful with each other, having fun, the humor aspect of it, playful, whether it's in the pool, on a walk, touch each other. And if you don't have that, or there's an action or response that may be negative, you need to address that issue. If I go to touch my wife and just playing around with her or joking, just having fun together. And if she pulls away, that means there's an issue, right? And we need to deal with that. You should be able to just have fun together.
Life equals fun.
Just have fun.
Marriage, you can have in.
If you're not having fun, you're not doing it right.
That's for true. That's for true. You're married to your best friend at the end of the day, and it should be enjoyable to do life together and grow together. And so, Josh, give them the final funny tip. You guys are our family now. You've been listening to a couple episodes. We're feeling close to you. So we're just going to continue to be real, raw, transparent, pull back the curtain. So tell them one of the tricks.
The ultimate marriage advice I got when we got married was fight naked. And it's so funny because so many of these situations that we get ourselves into, if you back way up in a 30,000-foot view, it's so trivial, really. What started the argument? What started the issue? And if you have that principle of fighting naked, there's so many different ways you could take that metaphor. But I mean, one of the things I love about it too is, I mean, if you're looking at it's just so silly, right? If you're naked, there's also the undertones too of, I don't know about you guys, but when I see my wife naked, I have a response that is God-given and part of the beauty of marriage and intimacy. And so it comes back to peeling back all the layers of who you are together as a unit. How silly most of these controversies and things that arise that are little issues that get blown way out of proportion into big issues. Why? Because couples weren't quick to forgive, to ask for forgiveness, to communicate, to be heard, and it just grows and it becomes just a wedge, and then something else happens, and then people are like keeping account of these wrongs when we're supposed to be making the wrongs right through just forgiveness and being there for each other.
So good. Hashtag fight naked, friends. Fight naked.
Don't forget that one.
Every wedding we go to since that day, Joshua gives the wedding advice of fight naked, and it always creates laughter amongst everyone.
You get to start wrestling naked. You never know what's going to happen.
All right, guys, we love you so much. We'd love to hear from you. Message us anytime. We'll really respond to you. And we pray a blessing over your marriage and that you truly will have a marriage made in heaven. Bye-bye.
We love you guys. All right, that's it for this week. If you laughed, cried, or silently judged us,
please hit that like button, subscribe so you don't miss another episode, and share it with someone who might need that same reminder. You're not alone, and your marriage is worth fighting for.
We're cheering you on, praying for your journey, and grateful to be walking this out together.
See you next week, where we'll keep it real, keep it biblical, and probably overshare again.